Innovation, the Jefferson Innovation Summit on the grounds, not the campus, of the University of Virginia, a school founded by Jefferson, who was, of course, one of America's great innovators and imaginations. Peter Kiernan is the head of Kiernan Ventures, one of the country's top venture capital firms, also the chair of the Darden School Foundation, the Darden School of Business here at the university, one of the sponsors of this event. We're talking about innovation, and we're talking about the circumstances that can make innovation blossom and flower. What do you think the one thing is that we don't have right in this country?
Well, you know, it's interesting you mentioned Steve Jobs earlier. In a way, he's a perfect indication of what we need. Everybody, and myself included as a consumer, loves Steve Jobs for the products that he designed. But I think his true legacy is going to be much more powerful in that he created market ecosystems underneath these products that sort of surrounded these products. He was a guy who could see around the corner and say, this is a market opportunity that we don't know exists. It's an untapped reservoir. We don't have enough people on the Sentinel looking around the corner, trying to find those untapped reservoir, and then orchestrating business, government, and policies to go after those opportunities.
Is there plenty of capital to seed these ventures?
Well, when you look at the capital between the U.S. government's balance sheet, and they are very much a player in innovation, have been through the NIH in healthcare, have been through the Department of Energy and alternative energy, there's a massive balance sheet. Now, it is frustrating to see that some years ago there were thousands of venture capital firms and now there are hundreds, but there is still ample reservoir of capital, and what's missing is the bridges between ideas and capital. That's the real piece that I think needs to be reframed, refocused.
I know you to be a free market kind of guy. Solyndra is much in the news this week. Should the government's capital, in the form of loan guarantees and credits, be used to back individual ventures, or should it be used more appropriately for basic research?
Well,
basically, what do you think about Solyndra?
Well, Solyndra is one of those things that can opiate everybody and divert the conversation. It obviously hurts to lose $500 million plus in anything. But Solyndra is a stray mark in the poker game that they are playing, which is to create alternative energy independence from imported oil. That is an ante, that is a tip in the poker game. So I hate to be glib about it, but the Department of Energy just guaranteed the largest solar power plant in the world being built in the California desert. They just did a loan guarantee for the largest wind farm on the planet in Oregon. Those kind of massive capital bets can only be made with a balance sheet the size of the government's, particularly because what's your next alternative? The oil companies? Can we look to oil companies with billions of dollars invested underground to say, we'll take our eye off that ball and focus on alternatives? I think there's a role for the government to play. Where Solyndra went wrong, in my opinion, is they picked a specific technology. And what the government knows about a specific tubular technology versus a flat panel technology is zero. They shouldn't be trying to pick technology winners and losers.
Quick final thought about the state of the U.S. economy and the global economy right now. Is it a good time to invest?
Well, I'm a big believer in trying to force yourself to invest when everyone else is running. That in history, time after time, has been the moment. Now, I'm not saying we're on the cusp of an economic rebound. I do believe in the critical thinking capability of our nation. I do believe there are lots of people who think around the corner like Steve Jobs. Now is a marvelous time to invest, but you have to be patient. You have to think long-term, not quarterly earnings. And I think if you can maintain that mentality, this is going to be a brilliant time to invest.
Peter Kiernan, the man who taught me the word deleveraging about 5 years ago and said it's going to take 5 to 7 years for the deleveraging cycle to move forward.
Well,
Thank
we're
you.
still working through it.
We
Such a
certainly
pleasure to
are.
be with you.
Nice
Great
to be with you,
again.
Peter.
Bye.
Back to you all.